Okay then. So we're back at Let's Talk Batting. I know it's been a long break. Mumbai Indians won the IPL, and of course I was extremely happy about that. And uh, unfortunately, the Australia series turned out to be not as good as the Mumbai Indians, right? For an Indian supporter. So being a Mumbai Indians fan and an Indian fan, I was not confident like I was with Mumbai Indians that India also would go and dominate the series, and that's what we saw in Australia too. We won the T20 series, but before that we lost the ODI series. But even the T20 series, we saw Australia come back and win the last game. So it's been a tightly fought tournament, and to be honest, since the time I saw the test, where I would really recommend that to all of you watching, because I mean, if you are watching this channel, which is entirely focused on cricket, and it's a very unprofessional, just casual kind of setting where I'm talking to you, I get a friend along and we talk to you about cricket. So if you're listening to this, then for sure you love cricket. And I think the best documentary that there exists on the internet as of today is The Test, which takes you through the entire journey of the Australian cricket team, right from the South African, uh, the sandpaper scandal, all the way to uh, the end of the Ashes. And there's also the World Cup in between. There's also the India-Australia series, right? Famously known for India's first Test win in Australia. So I would really recommend that. So ever since I first saw Test, I've seen it twice now, maybe some episodes even three times. They show you the human side of these legends, right? You understand that they are exactly the same as us. They want to win. When they get out or when they're tired, they're as frustrated. And when they win, they're as happy as you and I would be playing a game of cricket in our car porch. Yeah. So, so to see that aspect and to see the fight in them has definitely made me fond of Australia. It's not a sentence I thought I'd ever say because, in the early 2000s, because the Australian team was so mighty and because, our Sachin, Saurabh, Yuvraj, Sahir Khan, Harbhajan, and Kumble, that team always gave them a good fight. But even then, there's no arguing that that Australian team, of course, I think I missed Shane Warne and Brett Lee and all those people from uh, that team, right? Shane Warne, Brett Lee, Ponting, Steve Waugh. It's insane to have team, and so because they were so unbeatable, we always wanted to beat them. We never wanted them to win. But now seeing the human side of these players, especially their coach Justin Langer, Steve Smith, his obsession towards batting is just so beautiful. Like the fact that even when he's at a party, Nathan Lyon speaks about at a party, they're all dancing, and this guy is standing in one corner and shadow batting. That's how much he loves batting. So seeing this human side of all of these people has made me grow fond of the Australian team, which brings me all the way back to this India versus Australia series, this Test series. That's huge because India beat Australia. Steve Smith and David Warner was not part of that team because they were banned for 1 year. Steve Smith speaks about how he felt helpless when Australia lost. This year, Kohli will be going away after the first test, but he is playing the first test, the first overseas pink ball test that India is playing. And so the T20 and the ODI series, you knew that, okay, Indian team, quite confident with the players we have. Natarajan got an opportunity. Sanju Samson got an opportunity. One of them capitalized, one of them didn't. All of you know who capitalized, who didn't. And that also shows who will have better opportunities again and who might not. So I'm not going to go into details about that because I'm a Malayali and I love Sanju Samson. And I really hope that he can claim that he belongs in that team for the next 5 to 10 years. But obviously, I'm not going to delve into details of that. Let's come back to the Test series because with Kohli going, it's going to be extremely tough for the Indian team to defend the championship win that we had last time. But having said that, there is this man called Pujara, who is probably as important as Virat Kohli for the Indian team, and he's going to be there. KL Rahul has had the best form ever, right through the IPL, and even before that, even before lockdown, we were seeing him just having the time of his life. So he probably will not play in the first 11. With Kohli and Rohit not being available for the second test, before Rohit comes for the third and fourth test, Rahul, I strongly believe, will get a chance. Unless India decides to open with Rahul in the first test, which probably is unlikely because Shubman Gill has been playing really well. And India does seem to back Prithvi Shaw, though he's not in the best of form. So, so that's the batting side, right? Of course, there's Hanuma Vihari, there is Saha / Pump. Either of them gets an opportunity, they will, they hopefully will do their best to capitalize because I think both of them have had enough chances, and they've shown us glimpses of what they can do at the highest level. And of course, there's a bit of tug of war between them too. So, irrespective of who gets to go, I think they're going to put their head up. But I think the most promising part for India is the bowling side. Yeah, with Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Shami as the two spearheads, and with Ishant not playing, I think Umesh would get a prolonged run. If not, then Siraj or Saini. All of them are good bowlers, as we've seen in all test matches, and also bits and pieces in the domestic circuit as well. So it's going to be promising, and with Ashwin / Jadeja to be the spinner, India's bowling side is definitely capable of taking the wickets, especially because David Warner is ruled out of the first test. Will Pucovski, who, I mean, to be honest, I was really hoping he gets to play. He got concussed again. This is the 9th time he's getting concussed. And that's crazy to think that somebody so close to playing for their country and then get hit in the head and can't play. And especially because in the Sheffield Shield tournament, he scored 2 double centuries back to back. So, just because I've this newfound respect for Australian team and these young talents, I really felt that, okay, maybe it's a good opportunity for this young talent to play against the world's best and see where he stands. But it's unfortunate that he's not playing either because he's also ruled out of the first test. Joe Burns has scored like 62 runs, I think, in the last 9 innings that he's played in first-class cricket. And for him to be backed by Justin Langer, the coach, is very tricky because they will back him for sure because that's what they have done, right? But if they lose the first test and let's say Joe Burns scores like 7 runs, 4 runs in his 2 innings, then I don't think Justin Langer is going to be all that supportive anymore. Of course, he would be positive around it. He would tell him that, hey, you need to go back and work on your game. But this backing that is happening without runs on the board is quite a icy slope for the Australian opener batsman. Because, like I said, there's Will Pucovski and there's David Warner knocking on the doors. So, will be very interesting how they work out. But, respective of the opening, the big talk for Indian team will be number 3 and number 4. Marnus, Labuschagne and Smudgy. Steve Smith. That guy doesn't get out, dude. Like, Steve Smith can bat and bat and bat. We saw that he didn't have best achievements for Rajasthan Royals. And thank God for that. Because I genuinely feel that Rajasthan Royals was, though they finished 8th, which is ridiculous for their standards, but I genuinely feel that Rajasthan Royals was the one team that probably had a little bit of a chance of beating Mumbai Indians. They even did beat us, right, in one of those matches where Ben Stokes scored a century. So I'm happy that Smith was in form. But it's crazy that before the ODI series he said, "Hey, I just remembered how to hold my bat again," and that's what you're the number one batsman in the world, right? In Test cricket, and you're saying that you forgot how to hold your bat, and that shows how unique and peculiar Steve Smith as a cricketer and especially as a batsman is. He's touching his thigh pads and adjusting his pads before every delivery, his processes, and his wild guard which comes back to safe line, and his leaves, of course, he does a lot of jumping and he looks very weird when he's batting, but he doesn't get out. And in Test cricket, it doesn't matter what you look like as long as you don't get out and score runs. And if he's the number one Test batsman, then there's of course so much to him. And of course, Marnus is a crazy find. Jofra Archer hit Steve Smith in the head. The first concussion substitute in the world of cricket. Marnus Labuschagne came and showed the world that he is not a substitute, that he is supposed to be the second batsman Australia should pick in any Test match. So that fight of Steve Smith and Marnus Labuschagne versus Jasprit Bumrah and Mohammad Shami is going to be pure Bollywood, man. And without, of course, it's going to be filmy, but it's without being predictable, right? Because we know when we watch Bollywood movies that like hero might go through some trouble, he will win in the end. But this, we have no idea who the hero is or who the villain is. Those titles are up for taking, and I'm sure, though Smith and Bumrah are both, from the outside, very calm people, very, very respectful in conversation, they would be in their heads already visualizing getting on top of each other. So to see that fight unfold as this series begins tomorrow is extremely exciting for all of India and all of Australia and all of world cricket, because to be honest, it's going to be big with the England South Africa series washed off because of COVID scenarios, and with the other match being Pakistan versus New Zealand, it's also going to be interesting. But definitely Australia versus India, that's big, man. Like that's like the old India versus Pakistan, or the Ashes, right? It's almost as celebrated a rivalry as Ashes. So great opportunity for all these youngsters. Massive game tomorrow for Virat Kohli because it's going to be his last game of this year. Yeah, the run machine has not scored a single century in 2020, and that's unheard of. It's because he came close, agonizingly close, multiple times, 80s, so many times. And I was there for the Bangalore match. I was in the audience, in the crowd for the Bangalore match where he got out on 89 or something like that. And even the Australia series now, right? Even the T20, in the last match that we lost, he was looking really good, but couldn't get his 100. So last option, I don't think it'll fuss him too much that I don't have 100. No, Kohli is definitely somebody who thinks in terms of that. But especially in this Test series, I think it's important to score big runs, to wear down the bowlers. Because if India wins the first Test, oh boy, then even though Kohli is going to go, the morale that Indian team will carry and the doubts that the Australian team will have is going to put India in a very strong position to go and retain the Gavaskar Border Trophy. So, huge game starting tomorrow. It's in Adelaide. My cousin Chechi is 1 kilometer away from the stadium, but I don't think she got tickets, unfortunately. She did try to get tickets. She doesn't like cricket too much. But she did try to get tickets. Chechi, if you watch this, this is like 15 minutes. I don't see you ever reaching 15 minutes of this video. But if you did reach by some Miracle. Then yes, Chiriseshi, your name has been called out for the first time in Let's Talk Batting because you live 1 kilometer away from this amazing test that's going to happen tomorrow, starting tomorrow, and you're unfortunately not going to be watching it from the stadium because you couldn't get tickets. Uh, but it's going to be a blockbuster, like I said. It's going to be pure Bollywood. Virat Kohli's last match, India's last match of 2020, of course, not Virat Kohli's last match. That'll be scary. Like, I'll cry when Virat Kohli. Okay, I won't cry because I'm emotionally very strong. But yeah, but Virat Kohli's last match of 2020 and India's first pink ball test, day-night test. There's a lot of talk about uh, the youngsters coming in. There's a lot of talk about dust. There's a lot of talk about Australia's openers. There's a lot of talk about the Australian bowlers returning after a break, right? Cummins and Stark is not around for the T20 internationals. They took breaks for various reasons. And of course, Bumrah is going to be playing against Steve Smith for the first time. So much to be looking forward to. The list goes on, right? I mean, Rohit Sharma is going to come back after a very confusing kind of unfolding of events where he was injured. Then he played for Mumbai Indians in an inconsequential match. Then he won the man of the match in the final and took Mumbai Indians to victory. Then Kohli says that, hey, I don't know why he's not here. There's not been communication. And then BCCI says that was not well. That's why he wasn't there. And then they say that, hey, he's fit. He's going to play the third and fourth test and all that. Right? So much theatrics happening already around this series. So I really can't wait for this to unfold. That's why I'm back. Let's Talk Batting is back, guys. So I'm very happy to be talking to you, and I also want to see if this video quality of this headphones I'm using is better than the other mic or AirPods that I use. Okay, that's probably not important. Not the note I want to close this on. I want to see whether our Indians can yet again win in Australia. The most exciting, sorry, not COVID. I got myself tested. I'm debating a lot towards the end. I normally close out on a very strong note, but I deviated so much because I think I'm rusty because I haven't done this in a month's time. But great to be talking to all of you again. If any of you made it to 17 minutes 54 seconds, I'm truly grateful for your time, and I promise you that I will give you quality cricket content right from the heart because that's how we do it at Let's Talk Batting. We like to keep it real. And as this summer in Australia, Down Under begins, I hope that you and to me and Virat Kohli and Tim Payne, yeah, I never brought up that name in this 18-minute talk about the Australia versus India series. The captain, Tim Payne, will all have an exceptional tour of India in Australia. This Border Gavaskar Trophy is going to be exciting, and I think it's the perfect way to close off this roller coaster of a journey that 2020 has been for us. Okay, so that's enough for this episode of Let's Start Batting, and let's talk more as the games begin. Yeah, so let the games, let the drama, let the theatrics begin.